Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do some research how to use this camera. There's so many things in the menu. It's very confusing. Maybe this isn't Fuji's fault. Maybe this is just me moving from the Sony ecosystem to another camera. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research. I thought initially I could just go out and take pictures. I don't think that's gonna be happening. I need to be able to at least familiarize myself with the base functions of this camera to be able to be competent with it. So yeah, let's take this picture here. Oh, that looks good. So just to give you a bit of context and how I ended up with this camera. When I was in Japan, I realized that I didn't have a dedicated photo camera. I'm not a photographer, I'm only interested in video, but being in such a beautiful country made me realize that I was really missing out on something. I wanted to capture Japan in a different way through photos. And even though the ZV-E1 could take photos, I wanted beautiful photos straight out of camera. And with Sony, I usually shoot RAW, and then after I would bring it into Lightroom, and then I would color correct there. I'm not a photographer, so I really don't have any interest in spending that much time. That's when I got to thinking, I should probably invest in a camera that just took beautiful photos straight out of camera. Beautiful JPEGs, not RAW. So I began to do research, and the name that kept coming up was Fuji. How amazing their colors are straight out of camera. The crazy thing is, they're impossible to find in Japan. These have become like collector's items. When people buy them, they hold on to them. It was insane. Every store that I went into, I think I checked out 8 stores total. They didn't carry any Fuji stock at all. I was looking at the X series of Fuji cameras, and if you do research, if you look up Fuji X series cameras, the first camera that's gonna come up is the X100V. That camera has kind of a legendary status now because of TikTok. I didn't know this, but now I do. A lot of TikTokers made it popular by taking beautiful pictures straight out of camera, and it caught on. You can still buy them, but they're marked up almost twice as much. It's insane, and the prices have not dropped, which is crazy. I knew that was out of the question. I actually saw one in Japan. It was a display copy, and I asked the guy, I'm like, do you have any of these? And he's like, no, it's old inventory. And I asked, could I buy this one? And he was like, no, you can't buy that one. It's a display copy. I'm like, but in North America, they would just sell it to me. It was mint condition, by the way, and I was really excited when I found it. It got my hopes up a bit, but then shortly afterwards, my hopes were kind of shot down. I was pretty depressed. So after that, I started looking at other cameras, like normal. You go on Google and you search for things like similar to X100V type cameras, and I came up with this camera right here, which is the X-E4. This camera is essentially the same camera. It's got all the same capabilities as far as like being able to take beautiful pictures straight out of camera, and it one-ups it by allowing you to change the lens. But unfortunately, these are impossible to find in Japan as well. When you can't find something, you want it even more. As soon as I got home, I started looking up people who were selling these things, and I found a guy, and he was selling it for a decent price. And I've had this thing for like a little over a month now, and I didn't do anything with it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna take some pictures with this camera. It's gonna be one of those first person kind of videos. I've always loved those for some reason. It's very therapeutic to me. I'm gonna be wearing this thing around my neck, and I'm gonna be walking around the city taking some shots. Oh my God, it's so cold out. I picked the worst day to do this, but here I am. I have this little dongle thing here around my neck. It's like a dog collar. That's where I'm gonna put my DJI camera. And I'm gonna be walking around with the Fuji X-E4. We'll see how this goes. shadowed and half lidded. Oh, that's nice. It's cool. Beautiful long shadows. This glass building is really nice as well. I'm shooting into the sun. I don't know how this is gonna show up. Alright, I'm back at home. I want to give you my closing thoughts on this camera. I had a lot of fun. This feels like an artist tool. When I was running around the city, I felt like I was creating art. I know that sounds very pretentious, but that's just the feeling that this evokes. And I think it has to do with the tactile feeling, as well as the images that come out of it. All these things kind of contribute to this camera feeling the way it does. I love it. I have to still get used to the menus and stuff like that. I would love to be able to shoot manually, but I think that's going to require a bit more experience from me using this camera. Funny enough, I experienced something very odd, and I don't know if it's just in my head. When I'm out shooting with my Sony camera, I'm out vlogging, people kind of skirt away to the sides. They're kind of afraid to be in the shot. And I think that might have to do with the fact that nobody wants to be on a TikTok video. But for some reason, when I'm taking photos with this camera, nobody's scared at all. In fact, I had a couple people smile at me. It was like a sense of acknowledgement that this person is creating artwork. Just running around the city, capturing beautiful art. I don't know, it's probably all in my head, but that's what I've noticed anyway. And it's a different experience, that's for sure. I'd never experienced that before. I get it now. I see why people love these cameras so much. They feel so nice in the hand, and the image quality that comes out of it is amazing. I'm not a photographer, and even I was able to get some amazing looking photos, I think. With a bit of practice, I think I'm just gonna get better and better. So I really look forward to using this camera more. I'm gonna be in Hawaii in a couple days, so I'm gonna take this camera with me. That's exactly why I bought this, is for travel, for those situations where there's beautiful architecture, I'm in a foreign land, and everything's beautiful, and I want to just capture it in a different way than I'm used to. But yeah, I guess that's it. Love it, recommend it. These are phenomenal. I'm happy to own it. I guess I'll see you next time.